Thank you, Clerk Moss. And to our next item, public communication.
Yes, certainly, Director Treese. So we explained the audience. We just have one section for today's meeting, so we'll just call up and do our 10 minutes total. So the first person we have up is Barbara Nelson, followed by Michelle Standridge. So please, either one of you, come forward.
Good morning. I actually hadn't planned to even come in this morning and speak, but I received a letter last night from the Clean Water Services, as I've been a resident of Hillsborough and a customer of Clean Water Services. I was concerned at what I've been reading in the news. I received a letter basically that really said nothing's been decided. There's an internal audit going on at Clean Water Services. As someone who's been involved in, I've sat on ethics committees in my own industry, asking Clean Water Services to do an audit, to me, seems very counterproductive. I believe there needs to be an outside auditor that comes in that would ensure the public that there is oversight that is happening, that from a third party, a disinterested third party. Secondly, you as the board have fiduciary obligation to the customers of Clean Water Services and the residents. I feel that, it's been slow walked. And I understand, because policing your own industry and the people you seek to cooperate with every day is difficult. But right now in our country, in our local community, there is a lack of trust in our leadership. I think we can all agree on that. We need more leadership from you. And we need you guys to really stand up and show us that you do care about the fiscal responsibility of the people that elected you. Secondly, I believe there needs to be an outside audit. And third, I believe this person that resigned should not receive any benefits, particularly from PERS that is underwater in our state currently. So that is all I have to say, and thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
Right. Ms. Standridge, please go ahead. And then followed that will be Mr. Dale Feek.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to have a moment to testify. My name is Michelle Standridge. I'm a resident of Beaverton, and I'm a little late to this party with understanding what's been going on with Clean Water Services, but I am very concerned about the lack of transparency that has been given from Clean Water Services in producing documents and information due to public information requests. I had prepared different remarks, but in seeing the resolution that you're going to adopt with the resignation, I found that to be embarrassing, that you are going to adopt that resolution and praise this person who, while we are still waiting for all the facts to come out, has clearly taken advantage of public trust and our dollars that have gone to Clean Water Services. And as commissioners being on the board, you have lacked in doing correct oversight as well. And this travel budget and all of the additional funding expenses that have either been just glossed over or not really recognized is on you. And it's on me as well. I'm embarrassed myself for not taking time to come to these meetings and give more attention to it as a citizen. And unfortunately, we all have different priorities and how much time we can spend. So in electing you, I expected you to do your job. I have held office myself and worked both in volunteer and as an elected official, and I know it takes time, and I know that there's a lot to read, but it's important for you to do that. I hope that there will be no compensation beyond the resignation. There will be no severance package. I would like to see a state audit done by the Attorney General's office, not by just an independent auditor, and I would hope that you would have this completed as soon as possible. I'm grateful that you have taken some steps, but it has not been enough or fast enough. I see my time is up. I could go on all day, but I think that the review by Richard Painter saying that having the Attorney General's office do an audit might be a very good idea rather than having the internal one. Thank you.
Ms. Standridge, thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Feek.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair Treese and Commissioners. I'm Dale Feek, Chair of the Washington County Citizen Action Network. I have 3 topics today: on tyranny, Environmental Quality Commission, Forest Grove City Council; 2, what do others have a right to expect from us; and 3, a pause of the official arming of the patrol officers. Those are my 3 topics. Topic number 1, on tyranny. As you know, I've given all of you, except I think Commissioner Willie didn't accept this, the book on tyranny. I did make public comment again about that, the Environmental Quality Commission on Thursday. That's the reason I wasn't here on Tuesday, because I was in Bend. And so each of those have received that copy and they're reading it, and I much appreciate that. Because you need to defend institutions. That's lesson number 2. Lesson number 10 is believe in truth. And those are actions, not just lessons. And so you have a copy of that. Take a look at it. It's in the book that you have. And also just take a look at what you have in front of you. The second thing is, what do others have a right to expect from us? I also gave that to the Environmental Quality Commissioners in Bend. And I noticed when I walked in, there's an ethics flyer as you walk in. And ethics is so important. So Margaret Adler writes about that. There are 8 ethical statements in there, things to do. And the sum up those 8 statements can be summed up this way. What do others have a right to expect from us? That we do nothing that might impede or obstruct their pursuit of happiness, nothing that might interfere with or prevent their obtaining or possessing the real goods they need to make good lives for themselves. It is their need for these real goods that gives them a right to them, and it is their right to them that we are obliged to respect if we ourselves are just. Adler also says that we all have a right to expect the same thing from others. The last thing, it has to do with on the work agenda today, has to do with arming of patrol officers. And I totally agree with Nafisa Fai and her statement. And I gave you a copy of it, so it's in the minutes, and you've already read it. So please pause. Do not take action right away without a lot of considered thought in arming them. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your public comment.
Right, Vice Chair Treese, that takes care of the ones in the room. We did have 2 online that signed up. So the first one is Dirk Knudsen. Dirk, can you hear us?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead for up to 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for commissioners and board for hearing me today. I had a prepared statement, but I'll just kind of go off what I would like to say rather than reading that. And I do think the termination or the resignation of Diane as CEO was needed. I really think she should have been terminated. I can echo concerns about her retirement, but that's a separate matter. I am concerned as a journalist and as a citizen with 5 accounts with CWS. I have 13 whistleblowers, if you want to call them that. Some have identified themselves inside the building. Some are staying anonymous. And I can tell you one thing, they're all scared for their jobs. They say that sage and the environment there has become toxic, that they even mention anything at a water cooler, and HR manager Holly Dober excuses them, finds a way to get rid of them. We have got to give these people safe space to be able to talk to somebody besides a local journalist. So I don't know how you can do that, but that needs to happen. It's important. Finally, the calls for transparency were great. I appreciate you all doing that. But as you know by now, hopefully, I've emailed and I've also asked all of you to show that same transparency. I know some of you, not sure who, have traveled for either quick or CWS events over the last few years. I know there's lots of junkets and outings and meals, and I don't know, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but if you want transparency, you need to offer it yourselves. And so I'm sure you had good reasons for going to things. I do think it's really incumbent upon you to all lay all your cards on the table. In closing, I wish you well through this. We do need an outside audit. I do think the Attorney General, the Secretary of State needs to get involved because this is beyond your ability to control anymore. And I really appreciate all of you. And thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen. Clerk Moss.
Last person we have is Tom Bussey. Tom, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, please go ahead for up to 2 minutes.
So I'm calling in from my work office, and I want to make it very clear this is my personal capacity and does not represent any views of my employer. I've been a whistleblower before. I was a professional accountant. I worked for the Oregon Health Authority. I was a contract fiscal analyst, and I became aware of OHA line staff's concerns closing out OHA grants for wastewater testing of infectious disease. And we were specifically concerned about the $100 million research laboratory that's under construction. I don't have much time here, but I'm going to tell you my analysis was that there was no public health benefit to it or proven. The technology created an unacceptable rate of false positives, and they could create a central testing laboratory for the state instead of creating a network of 30. But upper staffs told us they had so much money they had to get rid of it. In light of this scandal in the news, it indicates that there is a culture at Clean Water Services among upper level management that is covering up that the internal controls have broken down, and that the oversight has completely broken down, and that they saw a revenue opportunity that is a distraction. Because when you're talking about, a $10,000 junket to Hawaii, you're missing a $100 million potential contracting fraud and kickbacking scheme. You need to look at where the big money is. I've been involved in audits my whole adult life. And when you look at audits, you have to look at the big numbers. This is probably a distraction of a really rotten institution, and I just think that you're missing the point. And please, if you want to have a resolution, celebrate your whistleblowers who are talking to Dirk Knudsen. They're your heroes, not your CEO.
Thank you very much. Clerk Moss.
Vice Chair Treese, that completes the signups for today and the 10 minutes.
Great. So we will move to the action portion of our agenda today, and the stated action is to adopt a resolution and order expressing gratitude to Clean Water Services Chief Executive Officer Diane Taniguchi-Dennis for her years of service and the acceptance of her resignation. Is there a motion? Do we need a statement from our attorneys?
Vice Chair Treese, I think the resolution order speaks for itself. It's just an acceptance of the resignation letter that the board received last week from the CEO, Diane Taniguchi-Dennis.
That's my understanding.
I move that motion.
Thank you.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, Director Fye and Director Snyder. Is there any discussion?
I think we have I'd like to make a statement. but
Please do. Now's the time.
Now's the time? Okay. Today, we formally accept the resignation of our Clean Water Services CEO, Diane Taniguchi-Dennis. I want to acknowledge the CEO's years of service to Clean Water Services. Leadership at this level comes with immense responsibility, and I appreciate the dedication and commitment she brought to the role. Transitions are never easy, and I recognize that this one comes at a challenging moment for the organization and the community. As a commissioner, I take seriously our obligation to make decisions that are principled, process-driven, and grounded in our responsibility to the public. When questions about leadership arise, they must be addressed with clarity, diligence, and care. As the CEO's direct supervisors, it is our duty to lead with accountability, fairness, and transparency. Major decisions, especially at this level, must follow clear, fact-based, and publicly accountable process. A couple weeks ago, I publicly asked whether the CEO was the right leader for this time. That question was an invitation. It was a call to begin a thoughtful, structured review. My intent was to ensure that any decision about leadership would be based on evaluation, not assumptions. In the spirit of restoring public trust, I am voluntarily releasing a travel summary currently in my inbox related to clean water services. This is about demonstrating commitment to transparency and modeling the kind of accountability we expect from all levels of leadership. I invite my colleagues to join me in this effort to lead by example and rebuild trust through openness and shared responsibility. Looking ahead, I will continue to advocate for stronger protocols around executive evaluation and leadership transitions, clearer boundaries between board oversight and internal operations, and renewed culture of professionalism, respect, public service within the organization. This resignation represents more than a change in personnel. It is a moment to recommit to good governance. What we choose to learn from this will determine whether we move forward divided or emerge stronger and more focused in our mission. I remain committed to institutional integrity, transparency, and public trust, and to ensuring that we lead in a way that reflects the values of those we serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Fye. Are there any other comments? Director Snyder.
Well, to those in the room that are concerned about the content of the resolution, I want to be clear that I think there's a distinction between thanking someone for many years of their dedicated service, which I think is appropriate, and somehow concluding that every single thing they did was perfect, which I don't think any leader, having been one, is perfect all the time. So I am comfortable with the resolution as it's stated. I had intended during the director's announcements to just announce that I've not been on any clean water services travel, but we can get to that in a moment. I wasn't going to do it during this time. I don't have further comment.
Thank you. Director Willie?
No, I don't have any further comments. I'm completely in support of this resolution, just because we do, as Director Snyder indicated, we need to recognize Diane for many years of very good service and what she's brought to the industry. And I would say that I'm reminded of the biblical direction of those without sin cast the first stone.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Willie. And I would just like to state that this is a difficult time for the organization. We're moving forward, and we appreciate the comments that we hear from our ratepayers, from our employees, and others. This is an important part of the process. I also want to echo the thoughts of Commissioner Snyder, Director Snyder, Director Fye, and Director Willie from the standpoint of the long period of service and the work that's been done at Clean Water Services. And in accepting this resignation, I recognize that service, and I also recognize that it is time to move forward. With that, I'd like to call for the vote. Kevin, would you like to do that? Excuse me, Clerk Moss.
Absolutely, Vice Chair Treese. Commissioner Schneider.
Yes.
Commissioner Fye.
Aye.
Director Willie.
Yes.
And Vice Chair Treese.
Yes. Thank you. And with that, I believe we are ready to conclude this meeting. Excuse me, with the opportunity of director comments.
Announcements.
Announcements.
Just quickly to address Mr. Knudsen's questions, I just want to be clear and expeditious in this. I've not been on any travel for Clean Water Services or any of the other entities that Clean Water Services owns or controls. I have participated in group meals during board work sessions. I think there's been 2 of those, and I have no idea exactly how much my share of that has cost, but that would be available from the records from Clean Water Services.
Are there any other director comments?
Well, I just want to confirm also to anyone that's listening to this meeting that we are having an outside independent evaluation, performance evaluation, and certainly regards to travel and entertainment and other related items. We are still working on the scope of that audit. It will be done independently by a person not related in any way to Washington County or Clean Water Services. And second, to the regards, the person who said we should not be allowing Ms. Taniguchi-Dennis to get PERS, that's way outside of our purview, and she's earned that, and I'm pretty sure nobody can take that away. So that's my only comments.
Thank you. And I would also like to add that I fully support transparency from our leadership here and all of our leaders. With that, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. We are adjourned.